Hi, Senior 1. It's not your first time to study biology. Biology is the science related to the living organism. Biology is the science of life. In fact, biology is very interesting science. I hope that you like biology. The first chapter is talking about the chemical structure of the living cell. Let's first discuss the structural sequence of living organism. Here there is a girl, a living organism. The living organism has a complete body. The body consists of several systems. For example, from this system, as you see here, the circulatory system. The system consists of organs such as the heart and the blood vessel, and so on. So, this system consists of several organs. Heart is an organ. The organ consists of different tissue, and the tissue consists of cell. So the smallest building unit of the living organism is the cell. This is the big organization and this is the lowest organization. So the body of the living organism consists of different systems, and the system consists of organs, different organs, and the organs consist of tissue, and the tissue consists of cell. Let's see the level of organization here, starting from this organism level. The human organism is made up of many organ systems. So it's the same circulatory system consisting of heart and blood vessel. We will going to take the organ, this time the blood vessel. The blood vessel is an organ in the circulatory system. This organ consists of tissue, and the tissue consists of cells. And the cells, the scientists thought about the chemical structure of the cell. The cell chemically consists of what? It consists of molecules, and the molecules consist of atoms, and this is a chemical level. Let's start in the inverse way. Let's start in the opposite way. Atom consists of molecules that form the living cell, and the cell forms a group of cells forms tissue, and the tissue form organ, and the organ form system. This is called the level of the organization. Okay, this is a living cell, and this time choose the plant cell. What is the chemical structure? What is the chemical content? Chemically, the cell consists of what? In fact, it consists of two things. It consists of organic substance, which is the biggest percent in the chemical structure, and also it consists of inorganic substance, which has a small percent. Let's repeat this again. In this slide, the cell, this is a plant cell, the building unit of the plant. It's same as animal cell. It consists of two things, two chemical structure. Inside it, two chemical substance. The biggest is called organic substance. It's the biggest percent in the chemical structure of the cell. And the second is called inorganic substance, and it's a small percent. Let's discuss the organic substance, and they are four main organic substances: carbohydrates, protein, lipids or fat, nucleic acid, which we took in middle three, DNA inside the nucleus, if you remember. DNA, and this year we're going to take the RNA. Okay, so carbohydrates, which is starch and sugar and cellulose, we're going to discuss it later. So the carbohydrate, it's found building this cell. It's found chemically inside this cell. In fact, the cell wall of the plant cell is made up of carbohydrates. Protein, there are protein chemical structure inside the cell. Lipids, there are lipids or fats. Lipid, it means fat. It's also inside the cell. Nucleic acid, DNA, and RNA, we know before that it's inside the nucleus of the cell. So the four organic substances are called macromolecule, which we're going to take this word later. It means big molecule. It means these organic substances, their structure are very big chemically. What about the inorganic substance? It's only found in a small percent inside the cell, only divided into water and mineral salt, water and salt. Okay, so this slide shows the chemical structure, the chemical content of the cell. This sweet baby, a living organism, its body consists of different cells. For example, here you can see the bone cell, the bone cell. And here you can see also another type of cell. And here is another, this is the cardiac cell or the heart cell, the heart cell. This is the red blood cell. And this is the nerve cell. Okay, so this is different types of cell. The body of the baby consists of different type of cell. In this chapter, we will discuss the chemical structure of the cell. As we said in the previous slide, this is the level of organization. Again, I repeat it. This is a living organism, consists of different systems. Choose here the digestive system. This is the large intestine, if you remember. This is the small intestine, and this is the stomach. We choose here organ, it's the stomach. So the system consists of different organs. The organs consist of tissue, and the tissue consists of cell. The cell has a chemical structure, so it has molecules and atoms. This is a chemical level. This is called organization. You can start it from big to small, or reverse it as we did before, started from small to big. In the previous slide, we discussed that in the animal cell and in the plant cell, there is a structure chemically called organic substance, or the word macromolecule. Macro, it means big molecule. So these four organic compounds are big molecule. As you see here, this is a nuclear structure inside the cell. This is a chemical structure inside the cell. Lipids are fat, protein, nucleic acid, and carbohydrates. Okay, so let's say that the chemical structure of the living cell consists of two things, as we said before: organic substance, carbohydrate, lipids, protein, and nucleic acid; inorganic substance, which are water and sodium chloride or mineral salt. What is the difference between organic compound and inorganic compounds? In fact, the organic compound consists of carbon and hydrogen, while the inorganic compound, they don't contain a carbon atom. This is a point of comparison. You should know it very well, that the organic substance consists of a carbon atom, while the inorganic substance don't contain carbon atom. The organic substances are biological macromolecules, big macromolecules. They also may contain nitrogen and oxygen. Here you have only two examples, water and sodium chloride. Okay. The biological macromolecule, we can call them polymer. What's the meaning of polymer? Polymer, as you see here in this figure, the polymer consists of units. I'm pointing to this unit. Units. These units building the polymer. We said polymer, poly, it means many. Polymer, monomer unit together forming polymer. And this process is called polymerization. So the organic substances are called polymer or macromolecule, big molecule. The monomer bind together by polymerization, forming the polymer. Monomers forming polymers. The four organic compounds which we will study in this chapter are carbohydrate, lipids, nucleic acid, and protein. What is the monomer forming carbohydrate called monosaccharides? What is the monomer forming lipids? Fatty acids. What is the monomer forming nucleic acid? Nucleotides. What is the monomer forming protein? Amino acids. So the monomer, it is the units forming the polymer. Okay? Let's take another slide. The main four organic compounds are protein, fat, carbohydrate, and nucleic acid. Monomers forms polymer by polymerization. Okay, the scientists classify the biological macromolecule according to two things. It means that these four organic compounds, the scientists start dividing them into according to their molecular structure and the function they perform. What's the meaning of molecular structure? It means, what is the chemical structure of carbohydrates? What is the chemical structure of lipids? Lipid consists of what? What's chemically? What's the atom inside carbohydrate or lipids? What is the chemical structure of protein? What is the chemical structure of nucleic acid? So we should know each one of them chemically, they are made of what? What is the atom forming them? What is their function inside the cell? What they do inside the cell? So let's say this again. Classifying of the biological macromolecule according to two things. Number one, their molecular structure means what is the chemical structure of each one of them. The function they do, perform, it means do, function, it means job, the job they do inside the cell. It means nuclear structure means what? What is the chemical form of carbohydrate? What is the atom it's made of? What is the chemical form of lipids? What is the chemical form of protein? What is the chemical form of nucleic acid? Each one of them has a different chemical form. What they do inside the cell? This is a structure inside the plant cell called chloroplast or green plast. Okay, and this structure is made up, in fact, of carbohydrate starch, which we will discuss later. Okay, let's start with the first polymer, which is the carbohydrates. This is a carbohydrate, a polymer of carbohydrates. A polymer of carbohydrate, it's biological big molecule. Do you see how many molecules it's formed of? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's more. Sometimes it forms something like a chain, سلسلة كبيرة. It's made up of many monomers. These monomers, one of them, which is called glucose. Glucose is a monosaccharide, while starch here is a polysaccharide. It means what? What's the meaning of this? It means that carbohydrates are a big biology molecule. That's why they are called macromolecule or polymer, made up of many smaller molecules. As you see here, many smaller molecules. Each is called mono, it means one. Saccharide, it means sugar. So this is one molecule of sugar called monosaccharide. Its chemical name is glucose. And this is another one. They form the polymer, the big one. So the big one is called polymer. Okay, here its name is starch. It's formed of smaller units called monomer. In carbohydrate, it's called monosaccharide. It means one molecule of sugar forming the polymer. Okay, they include sugar, starch, and fiber. We're going to know this later. The carbohydrates are made up of, as you see here, the carbohydrate is made up, its nuclear structure, carbon, okay, oxygen, and hydrogen. What is the general formula of carbohydrates? CH2OON. It means 1 to 2 to 1. Let's take example to understand. For example, when the C is 6, this is the first one, which is 1. Number 2, H is 12. So it's 6 times 2 equal 12. This is 2. Then O is 6. 6. It's the same, 1. Let's take another example. When the carbon is 3, this is 1. Then 3 times 2 equals 6. This is 2. It means when it comes to the hydrogen, make it times 2. O is like C. Each one of them is 1. So it's 3. Do it by yourself. When carbon is 4, 4 times 2 equal 8. It's 2. Hydrogen is 2. This is the ratio. And here oxygen is 4. But when carbon is 5, oxygen is also 5. 5 times 2 equal 10. So this is the molecular formula. It means the hydrogen is 2, while each of carbon and oxygen are like each other. And then this number will make it times 2 in the hydrogen. The smallest building unit of carbohydrate is glucose or monosaccharide. It means one molecule of sugar. If you count here the carbon, let's count the carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many carbon we have here? 6. Let's count the hydrogen. 3, 2 and 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 12 hydrogen. Let's count the oxygen. It's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the nuclear structure. As we said before, that when the scientists start studying these organic substances, number one, they start studying their nuclear structure. What's the meaning of nuclear structure? What is the atom forming it? For example, here it's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen with a certain ratio. If carbon is 6, oxygen is 6, hydrogen make it times 2, so it's 12 times 2. Let's take another slide. Okay, this is, as we said before, green plastid. It's found inside the plant cell. Chemically, it consists of something called starch. The starch, it's a long chain of glucose. It's a long chain of monosaccharide. It's a big polymer. It's formed of what? Glucose. So the starch is formed of a very, very long chain. Look here, he took just a small partition of it. يعني الثري دول مجرد it's just 3 sugar molecule. It's formed of glucose. Classification of carbohydrate, it means the scientists divide the carbohydrate according to the nuclear structure. Simple sugar, either monosaccharide or disaccharide, complex sugar or polysaccharide. Let's understand the meaning of these two in the second slide. Simple sugar, they are soluble in water, dissolve in water, have a low nuclear weight, and have a sweet taste. Let's understand this. It means what? Here you have monosaccharide. It means it consists of, this is simple sugar, both of them. Either it's made up of one molecule or it's made up of two molecules of sugar. It means that monosaccharide is the simplest type of sugar. How many examples we took here? I will show you the next slide so that I can show you the shape of these chemical substances. Here, this is the monosaccharide. These are the 3 examples of monosaccharide. Glucose, just one molecule of sugar. That's why we call it monosaccharide. Fructose, just one molecule of sugar. That's why we call it monosaccharide. Galactose, it's just one molecule of sugar. That's why we call it monosaccharide. And these are simple sugar. Example of simple sugar. There is another example of simple sugar. In the previous, glucose, it's the grape sugar, العنب. Fructose, it's found in the fruit sugar, and galactose, it's found in the mammary gland that's feeding the baby. The sugar inside the mother milk is called galactose. Ribose is formed of 5 carbon atom. That's why it's called pentose. It means it's formed of 5 carbon atom. So the monosaccharide consists of how many molecules of sugar? Just one. What's about the disaccharide? It consists of 2. That's to mean, for example, the lactose consists of glucose plus galactose. So the lactose, it's the sugar found in the ordinary milk, the milk we drink. The lactose is formed of 2 monosaccharides. What are these 2 monosaccharides? Glucose and galactose. The maltose, سكر الشعير, maltose, it's formed of 2 glucose. It means glucose and glucose. That's why it's a disaccharide. Sucrose, it's the sugar cane sugar. It's consisting of glucose and fructose. It means 2 fructose and glucose, 2 disaccharide. Both of them are called simple sugar. So the simple sugar is either 1 molecule of sugar only, like this example, or 2 molecules of sugar formed of, like lactose, it's glucose and galactose. Maltose, it's 2 glucose. Sucrose, it's glucose and fructose. Okay, that's enough for the first lesson. Let's complete the online listening. Thank you for listening, Miss Miriam.